Good morning, children. Welcome back to social session. In the previous class, we have studied about Penugolu. We started Penugolu, a village which is located on the hills. But before we proceed into the lifestyle of these tribal people living on the hilly region, let me quickly recapitulate the landforms what we have seen in our earlier classes. We try to understand about a village which is located on the delta region, a village which is located on the plateau region, and now we are looking about a village which is located on the hills. When we compare the lifestyle of the people living in the delta region, the lifestyle of the people living in plateau and hilly region, there are various changes that we can understand. The thing is, children, we live on a plateau region, Warangal, where we live. This is a plateau region, and the kind of agriculture, the kind of lifestyle we developed here is completely different from the lifestyle of hilly region people as well as the delta region people. And we don't find any floods here, but whereas in delta region it floods very frequently. So these kind of features divide our landmass from the other landmasses. So we have seen what kind of agricultural practices they make in the delta region, because there is a ample availability of water there, sufficient water availability is there in delta region. Whereas in Dokur, a village located on the plateau, there was a scarcity of water, and they are dependent only upon the bore water or otherwise on the rainwater. And rainy, what is also very scanty, the amount of rainfall occurs in these regions is also very scanty. Scanty means very meager, less. And coming to the hilly region, children, we started this lesson yesterday called as Penugolu. This is located in Jaishankar Bhupalpalli district. Of course, it is today located in Mulugu district, but in the textbook it is given as located in the Jaishankar Bhupalpalli district. So this is actually a border between the Chhattisgarh and Telangana, and it is also divided by the Godavari river. River Godavari flows on the border of Telangana and Chhattisgarh. So in that region, the hills which are part of the Western Ghats are located there, and one such village located on these hills we are learning, that is Penugolu. The people living in the forest and hilly region are called as tribals, and there are different communities or different sects in the tribal community. Like the people who got settled in the Etur Nagaram region, we call them as Koyas, whereas the people got settled in a Bhadrachalam area, of forest area, they are called as Kondaredis. So different kinds of communities are present again in the tribal sect. So we are particularly learning about the agricultural practices of these Koya people who got settled in this Penugolu village. And I told you that I'll take you to the Penugolu. So it's located in Vajedu Mandal, and in order to reach this Penugolu, we have to cross even the beautiful waterfall, Bogota waterfall, isn't it? Bogota waterfall, one of the scenic spot in Telangana, one of the tourist spot in Telangana. So coming to this Penugolu, children, these Penugolu village people follow a distinct type of cultivation called as a Podu cultivation. The kind of cultivation is called as Podu cultivation. This Podu cultivation is also called as shifting cultivation, or otherwise it is also called as Jum cultivation. The people of Penugolu are the tribal people in most of the forest region, and in the hilly region they follow the same kind of cultivation called as a Podu cultivation. Podu is a traditional practice of farming in the hilly regions. Most of the hilly region people follow the same kind of technique, and it is also practiced by the tribes like Kondaredis and other people also. This practice of shifting cultivation is also done in forests in the hilly regions of Andhra Pradesh, in the hilly regions of Chhattisgarh, in the hilly regions of Arunachal Pradesh also. They follow the same kind of cultivation. So each village has a specified area or hill that can be used for farming. And you know, within this area, people clear the patch of the forest, because forest, you know it, bushes and big, large trees, tall trees are present, and old trees are also present, which gets dried up. These kind of area will be identified by the elderly people of that village. They clear that patch and they keep on burning these dried things, and after burning the ashes they leave there itself, and then the next season they keep on cultivating. Such kind of cultivation will be done for few years, and later they leave that area and they go to a new patch of land, and they leave this area for the forest to grow again, and they go for a new piece of land. So they shift for 2 years, they cultivate this area, they leave after that, and then they go for a new piece of land. So this kind of shifting takes place in this cultivation. For that reason, they also call it as a shifting agriculture. For example, in Penugolu, let us imagine a patch of area, some 5 acres or 6 acres of forest area, they clear it first. Okay, they cultivate for 3 years, and then they leave this place and they go for another piece of land. This is how generally the shifting agriculture or podu agriculture takes place. And coming to the another thing is, meanwhile they move to another site, and what they do in that area is they clear another patch of the forest, and they allow the land to grow crops for a few years, and this way their farms keeps on shifting every few years, and they return back to these areas, these plots after many years. If they have cultivated this area for 3 years, they leave this and they go for another, and after this they go for another. So they come back to this place after many years. This is what generally is followed in the tribal cultivation. It's in the hills, it stops raining by the month of November. So the Koyas then use their axe which is used for cutting the trees. They use their axe and they clear the patch of the forest in the month of December, and they leave those woods and logs of wood and many dry leaves, they leave it there on the field itself. They allow it for drying the entire months of June, July, that is summer months, and then it was in the months of April and May, just before the rainy season starts, the ground is covered with the ashes, because they burn all the wood and the leaves, and they allow the ashes to remain there before the rainy season. With the arrival of the rain in the months of June, what happened? They keep on digging with the holes, with a stick, with the digging sticks. Just they keep on picking the digging sticks, and they dribble the seeds. They keep the seeds, they sow the seeds, that's it. So this is the method what they follow generally in the hilly region. They don't use the plow. If they use the plow, what happens? It goes deep and it loosens the soil, and the runoff water will carry away all the upper layer of the soil which is fertile, and due to which they may lose the soil's fertility, which is called as soil erosion. That may take place. For that reason, they never use the plow in digging it. They use only the sticks, and with the help of the sticks they keep on digging it, and they dribble the seeds, they put the seeds in it. The kind of crops which are grown here are jowar, which we call it as jonnalu, and maize, mokkojonna. What do you call it as? Mokkojonna means kanki, okay. And tubers like dumpalu, like sweet potato, carrots, which are grown as a root, those tubers. And millets, which can be grown with very little water also. Millets like korralu, adusulu, alasandalu, these kind of things, and sismam. Sismam means nuvulu. And pulses like red gram, green gram, pesarlu. Green gram means pesarlu, red gram means kandulu, and even vegetables like brinjal, vanga, or even chilies, pachimirchi, and gongura, etc. These leafy vegetables are also grown here. And you know, they grow mixed crops, not with a single crop. They dribble different kinds of seeds, and they grow it with a mixed crop, and without any irrigation. The total produce normally provides them with enough food for the next 6 months. 6 months they leave it for cultivation, and 6 months they doesn't cultivate it. So only one crop generally they have. Since these fields are close to their houses, close to the forest and to their habitation place, what they do is they easily attract animals, birds of the region, and the Koyas build a guard, a fencing guard. They build it in order to protect their field until December. Because these birds and animals may get attracted to the food and it may spoil the crop. For that reason, they fence the entire area, since these fields are very close to them. And we read earlier also that farming is done on a particular plot of land for few years, and in another one for the next few years. So in the olden days, on an average, each family used to clear 2 to 2.5 acres of land and forest land, and the average yield of jawar per acre of Podu yield will be nearly 250 kilograms, 250 kgs per 2 to 2.5 acres they used to cultivate. That is the productivity. Per family, they used to cultivate 250 kgs of jawar. So each family used to harvest nearly 600 kilograms of jawar, apart from 150 to 250 kilograms of small millets, other kinds of millets, because they used to cultivate it together. Mixed crop they used to get. Earlier, large forest areas were available in the hills, but now the area available to the Podu has decreased to about 1 to 1.5 acres. Previously, there was a large forest area. You know it very well. Even CM of Telangana was on a mission in order to increase the forest coverage area in the state. So the forest coverage area has got decreased. As a result of that, the Podu availability land for the people living in the forest area also has got decreased. Now averagely 1 to 1.5 acre is only available for these people. When it was 2 to 2.5 acres, they used to grow 600 kilograms of jawar and 150 to 200 kilograms of small millets, and other vegetables also they used to grow. But now the availability of the land under Podu has got decreased, and at the same time their productivity also has got decreased. This has led to reduced availability of the food grains, and now at the same time people are forced to come back to the same plot of land earlier than before. Previously, they used to come back after 15-20 years to this field which they have left under the Podu. But now, after 5 years, 6 years, again they are coming back to their land under the Podu cultivation. The rotation cycle has become smaller, so the soil is not able to recover in its fertility as earlier. As a result of that, the productivity of the people, the productivity of the crop also has got decreased, and due to which the people are suffering, and there is a scarcity of food grains availability, and they are dependent upon the government to give them some help. In the next class, children, we will read about the vegetable gardens which they used to cultivate in the back garden, isn't it, in the backyard. So we shall understand about that vegetable garden, what kind of vegetables they grew in their backyard. Do you have a backyard? Of course, in cities we develop roof garden where the vegetables are being grown on the roof. So in the same way, these hilly region people have ample land, they have sufficient land, okay. So in their backyard they are cultivating even the vegetables which we will come across in the next class. Thank you, children.